If you're anything like me, you're always on the hunt for games that truly live up to the hype. The ones that leave you speechless, glued to your screen, and make you think, wow, this is what gaming is all about. Well, today we're diving into 25 perfect 10 by 10 games. Titles that not only earned the highest praise from critics, but also captured our hearts with unforgettable experiences. From stunning open worlds to heart-pounding action, emotional stories, and jaw-dropping visuals, these games have it all. So whether you're a die-hard gamer or just looking for your next adventure, stick around, because we've got a list of absolute must-plays that you can't miss. Let's get started. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is hands down one of the best action-adventure games I've ever played. The thrill of scaling mountains and battling through enemy camps while experiencing a gripping story is unparalleled. I've always been a fan of Nathan Drake's adventures, but this one truly elevates the series. The visuals are stunning, the mechanics are so smooth, and the narrative, full of twists, keeps you on the edge of your seat. I found myself deeply invested in Nate's journey, especially his relationship with Elena and Sully. The emotional payoff by the end made it one of the most memorable gaming experiences I've had.
Nate! There! We can climb up those rocks!
On it! Go!
I got it! Come on! Hey!
Waterfall! Waterfall! Whoa!
Nate!
Okay! I'm okay!
The tree is not okay!
Oh, come on!
Ghost of Tsushima took me straight into feudal Japan, and I was absolutely hooked from the start. The game's world is breathtaking, filled with lush forests, stunning mountains, and villages that feel so alive. As Jin Sakai, I was able to experience the internal conflict of a samurai fighting to protect his people while struggling with the changing tides of war. The combat is fluid, fast, and so satisfying. Using a katana never felt so good. Every time I drew my sword, it felt like I was stepping into a samurai movie. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is an experience I never thought I would get in my lifetime. As someone who grew up with the original, this new chapter blew me away. The characters, the world, and the incredible music are all back, but with modernized mechanics that make the game feel fresh. The story continues to be captivating, filled with twists and turns that had me on the edge of my seat. The combat system feels so fluid, combining real-time action with strategic elements. Every moment with Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, and Barret was a joy to experience.
Bring it on!
God of War Ragnarok is a game that completely changed my expectations for action games. After the success of the 2018 reboot, I wasn't sure how they could top it, but Ragnarok did just that. The story is emotional and grand in scale, continuing the father-son journey of Kratos and Atreus. The world building is fantastic, and the combat is even more refined than before. I remember feeling the weight of Kratos' actions, especially in his struggle against fate. The addition of the different realms, and how each one feels unique, was something I really appreciated. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a masterclass in how to revamp a classic. I've always loved the original, but this remake brought everything to a whole new level. The atmospheric tension, the grotesque enemies, and the heart-pounding action all come together to make this game a must-play. I found myself at the edge of my seat during every encounter. Not just from the jump scares, but from the relentless pacing and fight-or-flight moments. Leon is as charming as ever, and the way the game blends action and horror made me fall in love with the franchise all over again. Tomb Raider 2013 completely reshaped my view of Lara Croft. I've always known her as a strong, adventurous character, but this game humanized her in ways I didn't expect. The reboot brought Lara into a more grounded, vulnerable light, and I found myself rooting for her throughout the entire journey. The environments are stunning, from lush jungles to the icy peaks, and the gameplay is a perfect mix of combat, platforming, and puzzle solving. I felt like I was on a grand adventure with Lara, constantly pushing her to survive and uncover ancient secrets.
You're mine!
Stray was one of those surprises I didn't expect to love as much as I did. Playing as a cat in a cyberpunk world was such a unique concept, and the way the game captures the essence of being a cat. From jumping onto ledges to meowing at NPCs was delightful. The world is beautifully realized, filled with vibrant neon lights and a mysterious atmosphere. The puzzles and platforming mechanics, as simple as they were, felt like a perfect fit for the cat's agility. I found myself immersed in the world, exploring every nook and cranny to uncover its secrets. Cyberpunk 2077 was a game I couldn't wait to dive into, and when it finally worked its magic, I couldn't get enough. The world of Night City is one of the most immersive I've ever seen, with dense city streets, vibrant districts, and towering skyscrapers. The character customization, combined with the deep narrative choices, made me feel like I was living in a futuristic dystopia. The story, with its morally gray characters, really drew me in, and V's journey was captivating from start to finish.
Or so they say, but you can only be a Major League player for so long. The faster you live, the faster you burn out. If you don't get a bullet to the brain first. AC's Legends. Know where you'll find most of them? The graveyard. Matters not where you're from. Matters not where you start.
Elden Ring is a game that completely took over my life for weeks. Fromsoftware has always created challenging and immersive worlds, but Elden Ring takes everything they've done before to a whole new level. The open world is massive, with every corner filled with secrets, dangerous enemies, and incredible vistas. The freedom to tackle challenges in any order was liberating, and the boss fights were some of the most rewarding and brutal experiences I've ever had. The lore, while vague at times, kept me hooked as I pieced together the story. Detroit Become Human was a game I didn't expect to have such an emotional impact on me. The way it explores artificial intelligence, human rights, and morality made me really think about the choices I was making. The branching narrative is fascinating, and I felt completely invested in the fates of Kara, Connor, and Marcus. Every decision felt weighty, and I was constantly second-guessing myself, wondering how my choices would affect the world.
Very close. You think she betrayed you, but she's done nothing wrong. She lied to me! I thought she loved me. But I was wrong. She's just like all the other humans.
Daniel, no.
A Plague Tale: Innocence took me by surprise in the best way possible. The game's story is deeply emotional, focusing on the bond between siblings Amisha and Hugo as they fight for survival during a terrifying time in history. The setting, filled with plague-ridden landscapes and brutal enemies, felt oppressive in the best way. What really sold me on this game, though, was the relationship between Amisha and Hugo, which made every moment of tension feel personal. The stealth mechanics, which rely on light and darkness, kept me on my toes, and the puzzle solving added just enough depth to keep things fresh.
They'll see me. I'll keep him busy. Trust me.
What was it? Oh, I saw something move over there. What was that noise?
Assassin's Creed Origins was a massive leap for the franchise. I've always enjoyed the series, but Origins reinvigorated the whole experience with a stunning open world and RPG mechanics that made everything feel more immersive. As Bayek, I felt like I was living in ancient Egypt, with the sprawling deserts, bustling cities, and magnificent pyramids all making the world feel alive. The combat system, which has been revamped to include more strategy and timing, kept me engaged throughout, and the story of Bayek's personal journey is one of the series' best. Alan Wake 2 took me on one of the most intense psychological thrill rides I've ever experienced. As someone who loved the original, this sequel did not disappoint. The atmosphere in this game is absolutely chilling, with its eerie settings and a narrative that kept me guessing the whole time. I found myself constantly on edge, never quite sure whether I was in control or not. The story keeps you hooked with its mind-bending twists, and the dual gameplay between Alan and Saga, the new protagonist, adds a fresh perspective. The combat and exploration mechanics were tighter than ever.
He's too fast.
Batman Arkham Knight is, in my opinion, one of the best superhero games ever made. The story is deeply engaging, bringing the Arkham series to a satisfying conclusion. The combat is as fluid and satisfying as ever, with Batman effortlessly taking down waves of enemies in spectacular fashion. The addition of the Batmobile was a game changer, adding a new layer of gameplay that I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did. Gotham itself feels alive, and the way the game weaves Batman's emotional journey with his iconic action made it one of my all-time favorites.
Penguin and Two-Face working together. That's weird. I don't like it.
Days Gone was one of those games that I didn't expect to love as much as I did. As Deacon St. John, I got to experience a post-apocalyptic world filled with danger and the haunting beauty of nature reclaiming civilization. The open world is vast, and the motorcycle is one of the best modes of transportation in any game. The interaction with NPCs and the emotional depth of Deacon's personal journey, particularly with his wife Sarah, really made me care about the world. The hordes of freakers were a standout, and I found myself genuinely excited every time I faced them. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is a hauntingly beautiful and intense game. Playing as Senua, I got to experience her emotional journey through the world of Norse mythology and her struggle with mental illness. The game does an amazing job of depicting her psychological state, using sound design and visuals to immerse you in her troubled mind. The combat is visceral, and the puzzle-solving mechanics were clever, but what really stands out is the emotional depth. I genuinely felt for Senua and her journey to find peace and redemption. Horizon Zero Dawn was a breath of fresh air when it came to open-world games. Aloy as a character is one of the strongest and most relatable protagonists I've ever had the pleasure of playing. The story, set in a post-apocalyptic world where robotic creatures roam, is engaging from start to finish. The gameplay, a mix of exploration, crafting, and combat, kept me constantly engaged. I loved how every enemy had its own strategy, requiring me to think and adapt in different ways. The visuals were breathtaking, and the open world felt so alive with things to do. Dishonored 2 is everything I wanted from a stealth action game. Whether I was playing as the incredibly powerful Emily or the more methodical Corvo, the game's design always rewarded creativity and experimentation. The powers each character has are incredibly fun to use, and the level design is so intricate that every mission felt like a puzzle I had to solve. The story, while a bit convoluted at times, provides plenty of intrigue and keeps you engaged. I found myself replaying levels just to experiment with different approaches.
Fellow Serconians, in the Duke's absence, I have the following announcement. As a response to violent crime and foreign interference in our affairs, travel between restricted military and appropriate permits.
Mad Max was another pleasant surprise. I didn't expect to get so hooked on driving through the wasteland in a car that I had spent hours customizing, but the game's vehicular combat is so satisfying. There's just something so cathartic about ramming other cars, setting them ablaze, and witnessing explosive chaos. The world itself, full of desolation and dangerous factions, felt perfectly captured from the Mad Max films. The story, while a bit simple, did a good job of motivating you to keep progressing. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is, without a doubt, one of the best superhero games I've ever played. The moment I swung through New York as Spider-Man, I knew this was going to be something special. The fluidity of the movement, combined with an exciting story that lets you play as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, made every minute enjoyable. The combat is even more refined, and the way the game introduces new villains and challenges kept me coming back for more. I felt like I was living in the comics, with every web-slinging session leaving me with a smile on my face.
We gotta help him before he hurts someone! Or himself! What's the plan? Keep him busy! I got an idea! Oh, crap. Still angry after all these years, Marco? You should try yoga! Must be more of a Pilates guy.
Metal Gear Solid 5. The Phantom Pain was an experience that I won't forget. I've always been a fan of the series, but this game took things to a whole new level. The open world design is vast and immersive, giving you the freedom to approach each mission however you want. Whether it's sneaking past guards or causing chaos with a tank, the game lets you choose. The story is as bizarre and thought-provoking as you'd expect from Hideo Kojima, and I loved every twist and turn. The attention to detail in the world and the mechanics is unparalleled. Star Wars Jedi Survivor had me feeling like I was living in the Star Wars universe. From the moment I picked up my lightsaber as Cal Kestis, I was hooked. The combat is fluid, combining lightsaber dueling and force powers in ways that felt so satisfying. The exploration is top-notch, and each planet has its own personality, from lush forests to crumbling ruins. The story continues the journey of Cal as he faces new challenges, and I found myself emotionally invested in his quest. If you're a Star Wars fan, this game delivers on every front.
Now you sound like a Jedi.
I got a few things right.
Not everything. Look, the Order's gone. It's time to leave it behind. And I know what I want now.
Took you long enough.
The Last of Us Part 1 is, without a doubt, one of the greatest games I've ever played. The emotional depth of Joel and Ellie's journey is unmatched, and the game does a phenomenal job of making you care for these characters. The survival gameplay is tense, and every encounter feels meaningful. I remember being completely immersed in the world, experiencing every heartbreak, victory, and moment of hope. The story feels timeless, and every detail in the world adds to the atmosphere. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is one of the most epic journeys I've ever embarked on. From the moment I started playing as Geralt of Rivia, I was immersed in a world filled with rich lore, memorable characters, and dangerous monsters. The quest design is top-notch, and every mission feels meaningful. Whether I was hunting down a monster or uncovering political intrigue, I never felt bored. The game's world is absolutely massive, and the side quests are some of the best I've encountered. I remember getting lost in the world, just exploring and finding new surprises around every corner.
Innocence.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of those rare games that comes around once in a lifetime. From the first moment I started playing, I knew it was something special. The attention to detail is mind-blowing. The world feels so alive, from the bustling towns to the quiet wilderness. The story of Arthur Morgan and the Van der Linde gang is incredibly compelling, and I found myself deeply invested in their struggles. The gameplay is a perfect blend of action, exploration, and narrative, and the way the game lets you immerse yourself in the life of a cowboy is second to none.
Like Jamie, at least compared to the rest of them.
He's broken Daddy's heart.
Daddy has a heart.
Don't make me beg you, Arthur.
My money, my life, me. I wasn't good enough.
I'm sorry. We need your help real bad. Little Jamie's joined the Chelonians, that strange religious order.
Good for him.
They're quite mad, Arthur. They'll kill him.
Okay, so from the heartfelt storytelling of The Last of Us to the breathtaking open worlds of The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2, these 25 perfect 10/10 games are ones that truly define what gaming is all about. Every one of these titles has left a lasting impact on me, and I couldn't recommend them enough. Whether you're looking for gripping narratives, expansive worlds, or unforgettable characters, these games have it all. If you haven't played them yet, I highly recommend you dive in. You won't regret it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming content.